Yo, what's up? Hey, everybody. Aaron Gonzalez here. Comment in the box below if things are looking good. Otherwise, we'll just get started here. And I'm excited for today's hangout, right? I got some really cool stuff for you. We're not going to be here very long because what I have is it's really easy, it's really fast to deliver, and really it's going to give you what I think is like the roadmap to creating success no matter what area of your life it actually is. So it doesn't matter if you want a better relationship, more time with your friends and family, more money, better business, whatever it is, you can take these three things that I'm going to share with you today. You can take these three things and you can create success in any area of your life. And I'm kind of pumped up about this subject because I've been reading a book recently. It's actually my second time through. It looks like I had it playing in the background like double time, so I guess it's working. Looks like it's working here. Welcome to the hangout today, my friends. Again, comment below if you're here with us, and make sure you share this with people if you haven't already, because somebody out there really needs this. Somebody's going to hear something today that is going to really change their perspective, change their paradigm, give them a better idea of what it takes to be successful. And I'm really pumped up because I've been reading this book lately on my Kindle. I love this thing. I didn't used to read a whole lot, and then I got a hold of this thing, and I just get pumped up to read all the time. I'm also listening to audios often on my cell phone, and I've been reading this book. It's called The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone, and if you haven't read it already, I would highly, highly, highly suggest that you read it because it's going to give you a level of inspiration that I won't be able to give you totally in like the next 30 minutes here. So that being said, some of you here don't know who I am. So I'll give you just a quick one. I'm Abram. What's going on? And I have had the pleasure of being able to build a six-figure business on the internet over the last 19, 20 months with my partner, Nikki, who's not here with us today, unfortunately, but she probably will be next week. And anyway, I've had the pleasure of building a six-figure business on the internet, actually a multiple six-figure business on the internet from home in just a few hours a day. And the journey has been really, really incredible. And since I'm talking about income, I might as well just say it right now. Our results are certainly not typical. We've put in quite a lot of hard work, dedication. A couple of the three things I'm going to tell you about today, actually, we've done over and over and over and over and over and over again to create a business that's allowed us to live a life of our design, right? There's been so many workshops and things that we wanted to go to in the past to work on ourselves, work on our business, work on our relationships, all this stuff. And in the past, we didn't have the money to be able to go do that. And it was kind of a shame when you knew that your breakthrough was waiting for you, but you didn't have the resources to go out there and get it, like the money, for instance. That was a really hard thing for us to deal with for a few years when we were struggling to get our business going. And that's one of the things that we get to enjoy now is the ability to go travel at least every 2 to 3 months and meet up with our friends, meet up with people that are also building a business while having a life. And we get the immense pleasure of being able to help people create their breakthroughs on days like today, right? Where I can share with you some of the stuff that I've gone through that you may not have gone through yet to create success and to create a breakthrough in your business, right? We're going to talk about business mostly today. I might use metaphors and stuff from other areas of life that you'll find interesting or you'll be able to connect to in a different way. But primarily, it's these three things over and over and over that I've used to create the success we've had in this business. A lot of people think of, and I'll jump into these three things here in just a second, a lot of people think that what myself and Nikki have created has been something of an overnight success, because we've never done like network marketing before. I've piddled around and done some stuff on the internet previous to our opportunity, but never with great success. Right, never with the kind of success that you could like write home about or tell your mom and dad or your family like, hey, like my business is booming, I can support myself, I can do all this. It's like I was the one a few years ago building my business as best as I could through the internet, making a couple $100 a month, if that, and still working at my dad's dry cleaner to make ends meet while I was going to school. That was me just a few years ago. And so when people see the immense success that Nikki and I have had on the internet in the last 19, 20 months or whatever it is now and earning over $250,000, again, results not typical, people see that and they think, well, they just like came out of nowhere, they're this overnight success. But I think what I'm going to demonstrate to you over the next 20, 30 minutes here is that overnight success is usually like a year or 2 years or 5 years or 10 years in the making. and what you see is the glorious like wrapper on the outside of what you think success looks like, and just how amazing like this explosion has been for somebody that you admire. And it's not quite like that, right? So I'm going to share with you the 3 things that went on behind the scenes for over a year, over 2 years, that really allowed myself and Nikki to explode our business on the internet, right? So taking you back to 2010, and we're going to get into these 3 things here starting right now, the 3 things. So if you have a piece of paper or a pencil, you can write this down. It's going to be really important that you get these 3 pieces because they are the backbone of everything that we do. They're the backbone of our online internet marketing empire, right? They're the backbone of everything that we teach people to be successful. Now, somebody's going to listen to what I'm sharing with you. They're going to hear the message between the words, and they're going to have a breakthrough. Some people are going to be watching this. They're going to be like, what is he even talking about? I don't get it. And that's okay, because if you stick around, you will get it. Even if you don't cognitively get it, you will get it, and you will walk out of here and feeling like a different person, going out and taking different actions, doing different things, maybe finding that you'll have different results just from listening and implementing the stuff that I'm going to share with you. So a couple years ago, I was just getting done with college. I moved back home with my parents. I got dumped by my girlfriend at the time. This was the summer of 2009, and I was just looking really for a better way to live my life. And I was feeling down. I couldn't find a job for the life of me getting out of college, and I started to realize that what I needed to do to change my life was to get out of my comfort zone and start doing something new, right? Because for the last 16 years of my life, I've been going to school, and when that stopped, I didn't know what to do next. And maybe you felt like that before. Not really knowing what to do next, and maybe that has held you back from having the success that you want. Well, that's where I found myself in the summer of 2009, and I realized that the reason that I felt so bad, and I felt so down, and I felt so stuck was that because I wasn't growing anymore, I felt that way, right? I felt that way. And so what I found out was that I could change that very easily, right? If I did something new every single day that I had never done before, just to get out of my comfort zone, I could change my life really, really fast. And so that's actually what I did beginning January 1st of 2010. I decided I'm going to pick up a video camera. Now it's a phone, right? I'm going to pick up a video camera, start shooting videos, and do something new every single day that I'd never done before. And I called it Inspiraction. And what I did is I did this video, and I did a blog. I never knew what blogging was in the first place, but I knew I had to do it and put my stuff somewhere where people could find it. And so what I did was I went and I did a video every single day for an entire year, right? I skipped a few days and I started making mini episodes, right? So I would do like 3 days of videos and I'd put a mini episode together, but I still did videos every single day, and I built one on top of another, on top of another, on top of another. And I'll tell you what, ever since that experience of doing that every single day, I have lived an extraordinary life, right? I've lived an extraordinary life because of those actions that I put into place. And that's the first piece of this 3-step formula that I'm sharing with you today, right? What did I do that was so special in 2010, right? It wasn't the fact that I went and did like these things that were so far outside of my comfort zone. Like, what did I do? One day I spent without talking, which is really hard to do when you're working a job and you're working, going through grad school, and you got to talk to people, right? I spent a day in silence. I spent a day with one arm tied behind my back. I spent a day. I spent the day with a bunch of kids on my street where I was growing up, building huge giant snowmen. I spent the day going and climbing to the top of the world to capture a sunrise on video at like 5:15 in the morning at 14,000 feet in Colorado, right? I did like all these crazy things that would stretch my financial capacities, that would stretch my emotional capacities, that would stretch my spiritual development, right? I did all these different things. But it wasn't those things that helped me develop the platform for success that I enjoy now, right? So what was it? It was the consistent actions on a day-to-day basis, right? So write this down. The first word you want to write down is consistent. right? Consistent. If you look out and you talk to people that have had more success than you have in a certain area, like I spend a lot of time now talking to people that have the success in our business, all right? They've made the $1 million, they've made the $5 million, right? Like that's our next target, is to make $1 million. Well, I'm going to talk to people that have that result and find out exactly what it is that they're doing. So what is it that I find out from all these different people that makes them so freaking successful? What's the one thing that I was doing that they're also doing, right? What's the one thing I'm doing now that they're also doing? Super consistent, right? I do a live stream with you every week that you can show up to, right? So I invite you to come back next week and enjoy, we're going to have some special guests next week, right? I'm consistent. I show up every day. Most people, when they start a new business, what do? They're like the weekend warriors, you know what I mean? They show up a few days of the month, and then they're gone. And then they show up again at the beginning of the next month. They're like, gosh, I'm still not having the results that I want. It's like, well, where did you go? Where did you go? What are you doing every day to move your business forward? What are you doing every day to meet new people? What are you doing every day to learn and grow and to be able to teach new things to people? What is it that you're doing every day super consistently, right? Like what are a few things I do consistently? One, I like listen to audios and read something every day, right? That gets me pumped up, it gets me inspired, it gets my creative juices flowing whenever I need to create marketing material or something to do a hangout like this today. Like I didn't know what we were going to talk about today until after I started reading. You know what I mean? So that's how I get my inspiration. That's something I do consistently. When you talk to people who are earning 6 figures in their business, they're all doing this, right? They're all doing this too. What's another thing that I do consistently? I do something every day to market my business. It doesn't matter if I'm creating a blog or I'm creating an email marketing message or I'm creating new capture pages to run new traffic, I'm creating new ads, I'm investigating a new traffic source, like whatever it is, doing something new every day to move my business forward, right? And so you can break this down into literally every single category of your life. So it might be your personal relationships, it might be your intimate relationships, it might be, with your body, right? You want to get more fit or you want to lose weight or whatever it is. If you break this down into every category, you need to look at what is the one thing that you're doing every day to move yourself forward in that area, and do it, right? And do it. That's what it takes to create consistency. Right, to create consistency. So we're going to take this and we're going to move it into the second part of this 3-step formula. And I think by the end of it, you're going to be like, dang, that is gangster. Like, I never thought about it like that, right? So I'm just curious, out of who's watching, who's sort of had like a breakthrough with what I just shared with you about like looking at your life in different categories and coming up with at least one thing that you could do every day in order to move those forward. Is there something that you're identifying now that maybe you haven't been doing that you can do, right? Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, yes, no, yes, no. Comment below, I want to hear about it. I'm checking out the page right now, and it seems a little quiet. Seems a little quiet, my friends. It's curious. Where are you? Are you showing up consistently in your life? Right, I heard something interesting at a seminar I went to with T. Harv Eker. You might be familiar with him, the author of Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. And he says something that stuck with me for a long time. He said, "How you do anything is how you do everything." And I found that during times in my life, I was sitting back and I was watching too much, right? And I realized that there were like all these other places in my life where I was sitting on the sidelines. You know what I mean? And it's like if you're sitting on the sidelines in one area of your life, you're probably like waiting for the breakthrough in another area, but you're not doing the things that are required in order to create it. Just saying, just putting it out there. Cool, so we got Lori here, Don's here, Christy, what's up? Robin, Jerry, Sarah, hey my friends, good to see you, good to see you. So let's talk about the second thing that's really required like in this 3-step success formula, right? You do this every time, it's going to create results for you. Period. This is like one of the only guarantees I think I can make out there for anybody to have results. Is if you do these 3 things, you will have the results at some point. Sometimes faster than others, right? So the second thing comes from, I told you this story about how I did something new every single day for an entire year. Well, there was this other element behind it that made it so successful. See, there were days when I woke up, and I would wake up at 5:30 in the morning. I would drive an hour to get to my dad's dry cleaner. I know, it was pretty far away, a little bit stupid, a little bit crazy, I don't know, but that's where the dry cleaner was. So I would wake up, I would drive for an hour to get to my dad's dry cleaner, and I would work from 7 a.m. till 1 p.m. Monday through Friday, right? And then Saturdays we had different hours, but Monday through Friday. So I wake up at 5:30, start work at 7, work till about 1 o'clock, and then I would drive down and I go to grad school from like 2 p.m. till 6 p.m., right? And then I would meet with my groups and stuff, because in grad school you do like all this group stuff. You got to talk to people and you got to like put projects together. You're always busy doing something, right? Or homework. And I'd meet with those groups, do my homework and stuff from like 6 p.m. to like 8 or 9 p.m., something like that. Then I would drive back home another half hour, and I'd find myself at home, 10 o'clock, 10:30 at night, whatever it was, in a situation where I still had to do my video of the day, right? Whatever that video was in 2010 of me doing something new, I usually had recorded it by that time during the day, and I would then have to edit the video. I'd have to put it on YouTube, I'd have to put it on Facebook, I'd have to put it on my blog, I'd have to send it out through my email list, like all this stuff, right? 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. Well, it takes a long time to do this stuff, you know what I mean? And by the way, I wasn't getting paid in 2010 to do this stuff. I was doing this project for me. I was doing this project because I knew that it would move my life forward in incredible ways. And it has, right? But there were so many moments that I was extremely tempted to not do the video, right? Or to not put that next foot in front of the other in order to complete my project in 2010, which was to do something new every single day that I'd never done before. You know, I would be letting myself down if I didn't complete the task. So I would often find myself up till 12, 1, sometimes even later at night, finishing that video, making sure it got up onto my website, making sure I pushed it out onto the internet like I had promised myself to do, right? And what did that create? Right? What did that create? It created an unstoppable momentum. You know what I mean? It created an unstoppable momentum. See, when you show the universe that you're showing up every single day, it's going to give you more. Right? It's going to give you more. It's going to allow you to move yourself forward in even more dynamic ways. So what is the key behind what I just told you? Right? What is the key behind what I just told you? The first thing was consistency, right? Consistency. The second one is persistence, right? So consistency is like doing the same thing or a couple of things or whatever every single day. Like you're being consistent, right? You're always showing up. But what does it mean to be persistent? Being persistent, and I learned this from a buddy of mine, Aaron Rashkin, who's a 7-figure earner. He says this all the time. You know, being persistent is doing what you need to do every single day to move your life forward, no matter what. No matter what. Doesn't matter what circumstances pop up in your life. It doesn't matter if you got the chance to eat or not today. Are you still going to follow through on what you said you're going to do? Right? Are you still going to follow through on what you said you're going to do? And that, my friends, is one of the things that separates the winners from the weenies, right? In a huge way. So you're doing things consistently, right? But maybe you do take a day off here and there, right? Because of some reason, whether it's real or manufactured, right? I filmed a video about this the other day about like the reasons and justifications that people have for taking action or not taking action. A lot of times people say like, well, I don't have the money, or I don't have the time, or I'm not ready, or whatever it is. And frankly, it's a bunch of bullshit, you know, because the excuses that you make sound best to you. Everybody else hears the excuse come out of your mouth, or the justification, or the reason, and they go, well, I thought you said you were going to do these big things, but now you're saying that for this reason you're not, or this reason you're not, or this reason you're not. Like, it just sounds kind of wussy. You know what I mean? Right? So I did this whole video about this the other day. You know, you can have all these reasons and justifications. They might seem real, right? They might seem like maybe grandma is dying. Right? Maybe grandma is dying and you need to go see her before she passes. That's pretty freaking legitimate. But is that going to be the reason that holds you back from creating the life that you came here to live? That's for you to decide. right? Because the key to being persistent is getting everything done regardless of what happens. So yeah, guess what? Guess what? If grandma was dying, I would go visit grandma and I would get the stuff done for my business, right? Because guess what? You know, you can't be there with grandma in the room the entire time, especially when they're running tests, right? And grandma's dying on the bed. I know it's a morbid picture to paint, but do you think that your grandma would be happy with you sacrificing the life that you came here to live to be there with her? Or would grandma like you to be there with her and live the life that you came here to live? Now, I don't know about your grandma. My grandma is excited to know that I'm creating something really cool and I'm helping a lot of people do the same thing. My grandma would want nothing more than for me to prosper, you know, while I can be there for her at the same time, right? You can actually have it all. I don't know if you know this. You can actually have it all, and you don't have to make the sacrifices that you think that you do, right? Because you can create time, you can bend time, you can create so many different possibilities in your life if you're willing to just bust through some of the justifications and reasons that come up that you think are valid reasons to give up or to not take action, but actually are not. Because guess what? The thing is, I've coached a lot of people before, and I'm getting a little bit worked up right now on this rant, and I hope that's okay. Right? You don't have to listen if you don't want to, but I know that what I'm about to say is going to shift something for somebody. Right? I was doing some coaching with people a few months ago. They were paying me literally thousands of dollars per month for coaching. Right? And their biggest problem was, well, I don't have time. My work is just so freaking busy. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do the blog today. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do the one thing today that I know I need to do to build my business and make it move forward. What's here? What's going on, Nikki? Oh, yeah. Go ahead. The dog is going berserk, and he's in the room. Sorry about that. So they're like, I don't have time to do the one thing, right? And they're like putting things off and putting things off and putting things off. They're like, the business is just so hard. And I was like, you know what? You guys are being wussies. And I told them, because there's never going to be a time in their life when work is just so freaking busy that they're going to be able to then the perfect time, then the heavens are going to open up and it's going to be the perfect time and light's going to shine down and God is going to say, now is the time to build your business. I've cleared your schedule, right? That's a fantasy, right? There are all these things that you created in your life that you're either allowing yourself, that are either allowing you to expand your life, or they're making you contract your life. And your life goes like this all the time. And it expands and it contracts, and it expands and it contracts, right? Are you going to let those things stop you? That's up to you, right? Because one of the funny things about consistency and persistency, I'll give you a quick one here, and then I'm going to jump into the third and final thing that you need to create success in any area of your life, right? Here's the thing. Some of you don't know this, some of you do, right? I used to struggle pretty heavily with a drug addiction. You know, I was the hippie stoner dude, you know, in college, and I smoked pot almost religiously for like 6 years straight. And yeah, haha, make jokes. I look like a hippie still, right? I do. I live in Boulder, Colorado. I get it, right? I am the butt end of that joke. I still think it's funny, even though I don't smoke pot, right? So here's the thing. I was super, super addicted to drugs for like a long time. And it was like I was like the most consistent mofo out there when it came to smoking pot, right? Every day I somehow managed to get it in, right? Even when the sky was falling and I had reports due the next day, or I had like some massive responsibility to take care of, guess what I did? I was persistent. I could not be stopped. I would find a way to go smoke some pot, right? And the thing is like many people are being super consistent and super persistent in doing certain things in their life now that are actually like destructive habits, right? So maybe you have some of those. Maybe like Facebook is your destructive habit. It's just sucking up your time, right? Or maybe it's like playing video games. That was another one of mine. I was like super consistent at playing video games, but it wasn't allowing me to expand in other areas of my life, right? So consistency and persistency, they go both ways, right? Are you putting in the time, effort, and energy every day to do something that's contributing to your life, or to something that's destroying your life, right? Contributing, destroying. Contributing, destroying. It's really up to you. If you can start nailing down the things that are working for you, the things that aren't working for you, you can start to change the way that you operate every single day. You can use that same, like I knew that if I could be that persistent and consistent with smoking weed, I could do that with anything else. So what I want you to imagine right now is like, what is one thing that you do almost religiously that is like super, super consistent? It doesn't have to be a positive habit, it doesn't have to be a negative habit, it's just something. What's one thing that you do consistently every day? You can write it in the comments below if you want, right? If you can write it in the comments below if you want, or you can just know it for yourself. But what is one of those things that you do consistently? And really identify that energy of what it is, right? The energy behind it, right? The energy of you being unstoppable in doing that one thing every day. And then take that energy and start putting it into other things as well, right? Right? Cool. Cool. So I see some comments here. Christy Hall, you're asking me to help you right now. I'm helping you right now. You just need to listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth and hear the message that's in between what I'm sharing with you right now. Okay? Because if you really get this, it won't matter what the strategy is, right? It won't matter like what it is that you do, because if you're consistent and you're persistent in what you do, everything else will fall into place. So what's the third thing? Moving on, what's the third thing that I attribute to the massive success that I'm having in my life right now, and that when I talk to other people having success, that they have the same thing, right? Jane, I love it. Jane drinks coffee every day. Boom, right? I love my vanilla latte, Jane. I love my vanilla latte. Like, I get down on it constantly. Like, I will not be stopped in going and getting my vanilla latte, right? So I can take that same energy and I can put it into everything else that I'm doing. If I can make that a priority, I can also make everything else a priority. Let me take a drink of water here. We'll get to the third thing here, okay? By the way, if you don't do these first two things, the third thing it won't matter, right? It really won't matter. If you don't do the first two things, the third thing really won't matter, right? So when I look at what my struggle was like from 2010 to like the middle of 2012, I had one thing in common, right? I was like consistently sucking. No, I wasn't. I just say that's a joke, but I was consistently like taking action, doing things, but I found myself like really spinning my wheels, right? Really spinning my wheels, and you know, I was making a lot of connections with different entrepreneurs. Some more successful than others, even back then, and just talking to them, having a lot of conversations, learning from what other people were experiencing. And I was talking to this one guy who's now a really good friend of mine, actually, and he builds like systems and sales funnels and stuff for all sorts of different entrepreneurs. Folks like Les Brown, worked on projects with like Marie Forleo, like all these different things, right? A lot of different well-known entrepreneurs, and he told me this one thing that stuck with me. And he was like, you know, I was talking to him one day and I was feeling beat up, I was feeling beat down, and I was like, dude, I just feel like I'm doing a lot of the things I think I'm supposed to do, but I'm like not getting the results, right? And he had a heart-to-heart with me. He's like, you know what, you're one of the most consistent dudes I know. Like, you're always out there hustling. I see you doing so much, you know, but you're missing something really, really important. Right, you're missing something really, really important, and this one thing really held me back from getting the traction that I wanted. You know, it was like the one thing that separated, you know, my ability to generate, you know, a couple $100 in my business one month versus now, you know, generating upwards of $10, $20, $40,000 in a single month. Right, it's like this one like massive difference, and so I struggled with this for like 3 years. I tried to invent a lot of things on my own, tried to figure it out on my own. And actually managed to, after a few years, get something that did work, right? I remember a time when I launched my first product, right? I wanted to teach people. I worked with a friend of mine. We wanted to teach them how to set up like their own like WordPress sites, their own little blogs, so they could, you know, start monetizing their passions, that kind of thing, right? And what we built was pretty cool. We did this training course, and we put so much time and energy into it. I think about 2 months, building a website from scratch, and then putting this training together for people. And when we finally sold it, we sold it for like $300. And guess how many people bought? Like less than 10. like less than 10 people. So think about this, right? A month and a half, 2 months of work between me and this other dude. He did most of the work, most of the technical stuff, so I got less money, right? Made a couple $100 on something that we'd put together from scratch, right? Now, on one hand, it was a victory because I'd never made money on the internet before. On the other hand, it was a little bit like, dang, I put all that time and energy into something, and I made a couple $100 after months of work. So I experienced both of those things at the same exact time. And actually, in that moment, I didn't realize it until later. I was experiencing this one big problem, this one big holdup that I'm describing to you right now. So fast forward like 2.5 years later, I've learned a lot of different processes, a lot of different ways to sell stuff, right? Because if you want to make money on the internet, you got to sell something, right? You might have a product already, but you got to find somebody that's willing to take the money out of their pocket, right? They're willing to pull out their credit card and then give you their money, right? In exchange for something, right? You have something of value, somebody will pay you for it. That's how money is actually made on the internet or in any business, right? Somebody gives you money for something that you have of value, and it could be a product or a service. Well, here's the problem that most people run into. They don't know an easy way to do it, right? When you get started for the first time, like I did, back in 2010, is like I had to learn how to build a website. I had to learn how to put PayPal buttons on it, right? I had to learn how to connect like my emails to everything. I had to learn like what a capture page was. I had to learn, how to actually create like a sales video. I had to learn how to write sales copy. I had to learn how to blog. I had to learn all these things. And it's a big, long, arduous process, right? And what I wish I'd had the whole time was just something that I could plug into and earn an income while I was learning all this other stuff. You know what I mean? Right? So what I was missing really was a system, right? Something that was proven, something that already converts, something that I can just use my creativity and drive people to the system, and the system sort of takes care of things on its own, right? And that's like one of the biggest things I was missing for years. Is whether it was online or offline, I didn't have a system or a set of processes that would easily handle transactions for me, right? And most entrepreneurs have an issue where when they're trying to make a living, the hardest part is what I like to call scaling, right? And scaling simply means doing more in less time, right? Or being able to get the same results being able to get greater results with the same amount of effort, right? That's what scaling is. So if you look at it in terms of like creating an advertising campaign, you put the campaign together and you get a result. The next question you ask yourself is, how do I scale this? How can I take this ad campaign and reach more people? Even if I put more money in, how can I reach more people, right? Same energy and effort, bigger payout, right? Entrepreneurs struggle with this all the time. People just starting to create their own business struggle with this all the time. You're stuck in like the time for money thing. So you're spending your time making the sale or delivering the product or whatever it is. You're spending the time doing that, and you can't scale. So you reach a certain point, like I did in my business, before I started doing a lot of stuff on the internet. I was doing like a lot of video marketing for people, helping people make videos. I would get paid X dollars an hour to do my stuff. So it's like if I wanted to go from $1,000 a week to $5,000 a week, I would have to work 5 times the amount of hours. But when you're already working 30, 40 hours, 50 hours a week, you can't physically do that, right? That's a problem. The only thing that you can do to fix that problem is to develop a system, right? And a system can come in many forms, right? You can have employees working for you, doing stuff for you. That's a system, right? You can have a set of processes, right, that people go through. Like my dad, when he owned a dry cleaner, he had a system for how the work was completed so that it would be as efficient as possible, right? And then there's systems like we have that we can use online where the sales process is already taken care of for you, right? So like your job, for instance, is how do you get eyeballs to look at the sales video? Because once you get enough eyeballs, then you make sales, right? So the third thing that I've been missing for a long time and that I finally found is a system that works, a system that allows people to come in, plug in, learn what they need to do to make a massive business, but also earn money at the same time, right? So if you're on this page right now and you've gotten something special out of this Hangout and you want to learn more about how to build a business that scales, right? How to take whatever product it is that you have right now and bring it to the world and make tons of money doing it. You need a system to do that. You need a set of processes. You need to learn systemized marketing practices that will allow you to grow your empire from home while you still have time to take care of your kids. Well, you still got time to go do fun stuff and go to dinner with your hubby. You know what I mean? That's the life that I get to enjoy now and teach people how to do the same, right? So there's a button below this video, and if you click it, it's going to take you to a page where you get to take out your credit card, put in the information, and buy your way into the system that we're using to create massive, massive results, right? We got tons of people here on this Hangout right now that have created some level of results. Some people, you know, like our friend Sandy, she couldn't make it here today because she just moved to Portugal this week, right? She moved to Portugal this week to live on the beach of Portugal because her business and the system that we're using has allowed her to create the kind of income where she can actually do that. And she can run her business from the beach, right? Or maybe not totally from the beach, because like here's the one thing. People tell you you can run a business from the beach, but they fail to tell you that it takes Wi-Fi to run your business from the beach, right? If you don't have Wi-Fi, it's a little difficult, right? So you can run your business from close to the beach, right? Maybe the cabana that you're at has Wi-Fi. I'm waiting for the day that my cabana in Mexico can have Wi-Fi to it. That's actually worth a damn. But the point is still the same, right? The point is still the same. The system we've been able to plug into allowed myself and Nikki, my partner, to go from earning at the most like $3,000 a month in our business, right, back in 2012, right, earning $3,000 a month in our business to earning upwards of $40,000 in a single month, right, to earning over $250,000 in the last 19, 20 months, right? And again, results aren't typical. You know, we worked our butts off for that. We were consistent, we were persistent, and we plugged into the system. We didn't try to reinvent the wheel. We just went with something that works, and we made it work, right? We saw other people using the system, right? For a year, we sat on the sidelines watching other people succeed with this system, and we had too much pride to just plug into something that works. We thought that we need to go out and make our own thing, and that kept us broke for a few years, right? I wonder how much more money we would have made right by now, and I wonder how many more people we would have helped by now if we had plugged in a year earlier than when we did, and if it weren't for us having the pride, thinking that we knew better than what the people knew who were already making tons of money, who were already having the results that we wanted. We had too much pride to not just plug into the system, get started, and start making money, right? We had too much pride, and that held us back from earning a lot of money. And it doesn't matter, right? Like, we thought that we would have to like give up our life. We thought we'd have to like give up the things that we love doing, which is like coaching and working with people, in order to make the system work, right? In order to use this system that we're using now, we thought we had to like do all these crazy things. And it turns out that this system allows you to sell whatever you want, allows you to be whoever you are. As a matter of fact, the more you show up as yourself, the more money you stand to make. And why do I know that? Because I'm living it, right? Because the more books that I read, you know, the more audios that I listen to, the more that I expand my own consciousness, my own personal development, the more that I learn, and the more that I can then get on Hangouts like this and teach to other people, the more I step into being more of myself, right? And that's what I came here to do, right? I'm in the business of inspiring other people. That's why I'm here today. That's why you're here watching. That's why you're getting value from what I'm sharing with you today, and you're going to go out and you're going to create results. I'm in the business of inspiring other people to become more of them, to create a better life for themselves, and to live a life where they can have it all, where you don't have to sacrifice the time, money, energy, time with family in order to have everything that you came to get out of life. Because when you have a system, you don't have to sacrifice anything anymore. So you have to ask yourself, is what I'm doing right now, is it a system that will work to get me the outcomes that I desire? Right? Because a lot of us have come from a background where we were working a job that was a part of the grand system, right? And the system that I was in, and maybe you had some experience in too, when you're working a job, working for somebody else, the system itself doesn't quite allow you to maybe do some of those things that you've been dreaming of for a long time, right? How long have you been waiting to go on that epic vacation to Mexico or Disney World, right? Or to Europe? How long have you been waiting for that? Has it been like a year, like 2 years, like 5 years, 10 years? I mean, isn't it time that you got to do that? You know, the system that I was in where I was working for somebody else wasn't allowing me the leverage and the ability to go do those things, right? Because I was working for somebody else and the most I'd ever made in a single month was $3,000. And when you've got rent to pay, and you've got cell phones, and you've got food, and you got car insurance, and you got electricity, you got internet, and you got your student loans, and you got all this other stuff, there's not a lot of money left over to go do that thing that you've been waiting to do for a long time. So my question is the system, whether you're working a job, or whether you're working with some company, or you have your own business, or whatever it is that system allowing you the freedom? Are you enjoying that freedom now to go live the life of your dreams? Are you able to see the path for you inside of that system that will get you to where you want to go? Like, if you wrote it down, can you see the path? And then I have 2 questions for you. Do you want to do that path? Yes or no? Right? If the answer is no, the next question you have to ask yourself is, well, would it even fucking work anyway? Right? Maybe that should have been the first question. Will the path work? Yes or no? Right? If it does, do you really want to do it? Right? Do you want to be on the 40-40-40 plan? I heard this one last night. I thought it was so funny. The 40-40-40 plan, do you want to know what it is? Work 40 years for $40,000 or 40 hours a week to retire on 40% of the income, whatever you had. Sounds like a ball. Sounds like a system I do not want to be a part of, right? And that's why we have this system, right? That's why we have the Empower Network, right? That's why we have the viral blogging system. I'm using the word system, right? We have the viral blogging system, which you can get your hands on when you click the button below this video, and you can use that to build the income of your dreams. You can use that to build the business of your dreams. You can use that, like I did in 2010, to create something worth talking about, right? To create a transformation from the inside out that has now allowed me to help so many other people do the same. Has now allowed me to not have to think about and worry about money all the time, and just think about and worry about how I'm going to help the next person create the success that I now enjoy, right? That's what I'm here to do. I'm in the business of inspiring other people, right? And I think that's why you're here. Here's what I want you to do next. I want you to remember these 3 things: consistency, persistency, and the system. Get consistent, get persistent, and make sure you're in a system that works, right? Because if you're not, you need to become a part of this system, right? You need to become a part of this system. You can start for 25 bucks. Click the button below, become a part of our system, and we'll show you how to break free from the money matrix. Being you, just doing whatever the heck you want. I can show you how to do that in a few hours a day. But you gotta lock arms with us. You gotta click the button below, take out your credit card, and just buy. Okay? Pretty easy. This is the beginning. All right? If you're consistent and you're persistent and you stay plugged into the system, you're gonna enjoy a lot more out of life. All right? So I appreciate you for coming out to this hangout, everybody. It's been awesome chatting with you and sharing with you just some of the stuff that I had on my mind today. And make sure you tune in next week. All right, we do this at the same. We're gonna do this again next week, Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern time. I'm gonna have some fun guests on that I think you'll enjoy. People that have an incredible story and some strategies and techniques that have allowed them to have incredible results. That's why we're having them on the hangout. You know what I mean? So yeah, make sure you click the button below, get started if you haven't already. And if not, I just hope you have a wonderful day and that you come back and you join us next week. I will have some cool guests for you there. And all right, that's cool. See you later. Bye for now.